That was not the ideal outcome of tonight's game. Welcome into another post-game edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of the postseason. This man next to me is the hot tag and occasional tag team champion of the postseason, DNVR's very own Patrick Lyons. Of course, Jesse Friedman, hopefully, will be joining us at some point. I say that not as if something bad is going to happen to Jesse, but, you know, this episode might not be as long as some of the victorious ones because tonight there really isn't a lot to talk about. I mean, for the most part, it was a disappointing loss and a disappointing night for Zac Gallen on the mound. And even though the results don't look great, I really feel like Zac Gallen, especially early on, kind of got done dirty. You know, we saw Kyle Schwarber get that little dribbler to start things off that honestly looked like an absolute, out, especially with Kyle Schwarber running to first base. And of course, he would later score a run, as well as another run would score in the first inning. And the Phillies would once again have an early lead. Diamondbacks offense didn't show up in this one. So there's plenty blame, I guess, you could spread around. The team was not very good in this game offensively. Zac Gallen wasn't very good on the mound, and it resulted in a 6-1 loss. Alek Thomas did add a solo shot, and he continues to be incredibly surprising during the postseason. But outside of that, the offense was really just inactive.
Well, they ended up getting more hits than the Phillies, 9-8, but none of them were really ever together, right? Mm-hmm. They had all these innings. I think they had 4 innings in a row where they would be one out singles, one after another. There's a one out double in there, but they weren't able to put them back to back against Zack Wheeler. And he was able to kind of say, all right, I'll give up a single here or there, but that was it. Other than that Thomas home run. So, it does go to show you that, batting average isn't that important. That's what sabermetrics is all about. Basically saying like, you could have a better batting average than the other team, but it doesn't mean you're going to win the game. You'll only win it so many times. If you have a better on-base percentage, you have a higher likelihood of winning. If you have a better slugging percentage, but if you have a better OPS, then you are more likely to win 70-some% of the time. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but that's why there's so much more value put on getting on base, not making it out. Yeah. And then when you do get a hit, it's for extra bases. That's way more valuable than just getting a hit or not.
And that seemed to be the case. The Diamondbacks just could not put those hits together when they mattered. And again, they could not really put up those big runs, put those big innings together. They score, like I said, just the one run. But there's also Zac Gallen, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk about Gallen. Somebody said Gallen is not the ace. And honestly, at least right now in the postseason, yeah, you could say that. Gallen has not had much success here in the postseason. He also didn't have much success in the last month leading up to the playoffs. So, I mean, you could look at what Merrill Kelly did for this team and also how Brandon Pfaadt has pitched in the postseason in his starts. And, yeah, I mean, Gallen continued to struggle. He went 6 innings tonight. He gave up 6 hits. 4 earned, 2 walks, just 1 strikeout. Gallen has a 5.24 ERA this postseason. As BC there gives us that information.
Dodgers fan, by the way.
What's that?
Dodgers fan, BC.
I appreciate you being here, DC. Back-to-back home runs in the 6th to Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. That really seemed to be the dagger in this one, right? That seemed to be where like this game went from at least looking like the Diamondbacks could muster up a comeback to really feeling like, oh, here we go again. Here go the home run derby from the Phillies.
And the thing about Gallen's start too, that Jesse Friedman pointed out, only struck out 1 batter, like wasn't, missing the bats as much as he definitely has in the past. In fact, in his career, he had never struck out less than 2 in a game. So only 1 tonight. It's wild. Obviously kind of being critical. Defense was okay. It was fine. There was a, Marte error in there at some point, but just putting the ball in play, it can do wonders. And, it didn't do wonders for the Diamondbacks tonight, despite, again, the fact that they did have those 9 hits. Didn't steal any bases again. That's Bryce Harper has more stolen bases in this series. He's stolen home the exact same amount of times as the entire Diamondbacks team has stolen any bases. 2 for Harper, 1 for the Diamondbacks in the NLCS. You ready to talk about Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper punched fucking Gabriel Moreno in the goddamn mouth. Are we not going to talk about that?
Can we talk about it?
Can we talk about it? Can we talk about him knocking Gabby Moreno out? He fucking knocked him out.
Cold
cocked him. But that's fine because he checked on him, right? So everything's okay because he checked on him.
How sweet.
Oh, how sweet.
Isn't that cute?
Are you fucking kidding me?
How is that
I
cool?
don't have any ones tonight, but
That,
oh man,
that was a wild play to say the least in the first inning. That pushed the second round. That was
Stop beating up Gabby. Stop beating up Gabby. My God.
That was the game-winning run. It was a double steal on that, and Marte cuts in front of second base, and they say, all right, we don't need to get Stott. Let's get that out at the plate. Good throw. Gabby's not able to hold on to it, but it does appear as if there's somewhat of a running lane. Now, Moreno, in catching the ball, moved his body kind of where the chalk is on that line between third and home.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be reasonable about this.
Harper had that outside lane, and he didn't exactly slide. Like his feet, his torso was over his feet.
Slide. He didn't slide at all.
He went arms first.
Arm first.
Straight into his mouth.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even look at it. They didn't even look at it.
That is really surprising. That they didn't look at that
all I heard was Lariato in my head. Lariato.
I don't understand how you don't take a look at that.
That was kind of wild how that play ended up going. When it happened initially, I just thought there was like kind of incidental contact. Yeah. But then once you see the replay, it's pretty clear. Harper's like, hey, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take this line, and if there's contact, I'm not gonna get the brunt of it.
Yeah.
And again, maybe that's old school instincts, but there's a rule in place specifically for this so that we don't have really good players or even just have injuries, guys suffering some head damage and trauma. And we know Moreno, that's happened to him a lot all throughout these playoffs. I mean, he took a foul ball even later on. Like, he's really gotten beat up.
And Thunderbolt's right, too. I just have to say that real quick, is that Thunderbolt's right. He's saying no one did anything about it.
Yeah.
You have to protect Gabby there in that situation. Someone has to come out of the dugout.
Dugouts, benches clear. What do you want? Throwing out Harper next time he's up? What do we want to do here for retaliation?
And the message that was just up on the screen by Fly High, I don't know that was a slide. Again, go back and look at that. And every right to slide like that if it wasn't a slide, then I don't. There are rules in place. There are rules in place so that you don't make contact like that.
Well, trying to be realistic here. I mean, if we really want to blame anybody, it was Ketel Marte for that throw that put Gabriel Moreno right there. But again, it's a bang bang play. You're just trying to get out. You're not really, it's not like anybody's fault. It's not even really Bryce Harper's fault. The way that whole thing went, there wasn't even anything you could do. Oh, shut up, Sean. Can we ban Sean?
What a loser.
What a loser this guy Sean is. Get out of here, Sean. Soft. This is soft. Oh yeah. We don't want our catchers getting concussed, Sean. Yeah. Anyway, I can't believe I used to do a show with that guy. It's crazy. You think you know a guy. Damon. Anyway, yeah, no, honestly, the way that play
was
happened,
wild.
Yeah, Harper, like when you watch it, it sucks the way it did. And yeah, it does absolutely in slow motion look like he comes in with the forearm, but realistically, he was just running home, and that's the way that play went. But again, Gabriel Moreno is so important to this team that if anything bad happens to him, so help me God, I won't be able to restrain Damon. I'm just saying.
They need Moreno. I mean, he reached base in 5 consecutive at bats. I think he had hits in 4 of those 5s, like in consecutively, going back to the end of Game 3 when he doubled late. So he's that move to place him third in the lineup by Torrey, has been absolutely perfect, getting Tommy Pham out of there, and then even in today's lineup, getting Tommy Pham out of the game. But that meant Pavin Smith in there, and he was kind of the hotter hand. And unfortunately, I don't know if the moment was too big for him, but Pavin, unfortunately, didn't come through when he had a couple opportunities.
He fooled us all. No, Pavin's been playing well, but yeah, of course, we are the ones that absolutely I think I said we're craving Pavin, and I feel like a fool for that. But it's not just Pavin that didn't show up today. A lot of this team continue to not show up. Corbin Carroll remains inactive on the base path, and I know that's infuriating to watch for fans. I know it's frustrating for us to watch here. You want to see Corbin doing something that, again, even if he does even if he does get out, get thrown out, you just kind of want to see him making something happen. You know what I mean? You want to see him try to make something happen.
He reached base twice, had the hit right to lead off the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, right away from the get-go, so it was like, okay, this is exactly what we talked about in the pregame and kind of embracing the chaos, creating the chaos, and they haven't been doing that. And so it is a little confusing that Wheeler and Realmuto, dangerous combination there, but it does feel like with Wheeler on the mound, a guy who just really doesn't give up anything, one run could be the difference. Now, at that point, Diamondbacks are already down 2-0, so you do need more than just the one run. That being said, it just really is strange that the Lourdes Gurriel stolen base late in, I think, Game 3, that's been the only stolen base of this entire series for the Diamondbacks. And again, Bryce Harper, 2 stolen bases, one of which was home plate tonight.
It's wild. And again, I think somebody said it in the chat there. Gallen, the Philly definitely has Gallen's number at this point. And Gallen has been pitching against Zack Wheeler, who was once again excellent. So you got to give credit where credit's due, because Zack Wheeler has been absolutely holding this Diamondbacks offense to minimal runs scored. He's been doing an excellent job on the mound for Philly. But, I mean, the Diamondbacks, again, you saw them try to be patient at times. You did see them get those hits, but the hits just never really seemed like they were dangerous.
Substantial enough. Yeah.
They weren't connected. They weren't a dangerous team tonight, But Ketel Marte did extend his hitting streak to 14 games, and he continues to hit and at least consistently be a part of the offense, where you take a look at, the rest of the box score for the D-backs, and, there's just a lot of guys that didn't get a hit. Pavin Smith, no hits. Evan Longoria, no hits. And then just kind of one hit, for everybody else. Nothing out of the box. But, of course, we do have to give our king snake to someone. And that someone tonight is the one and only Alek Thomas. He had the big home run. He put up the Diamondbacks' only run tonight. And, I mean, again, it's just wild that Alek Thomas continues to be able to show off this power here in the postseason. It's just unfortunate that, he's seemingly the only one kind of stepping it up here offensively.
Jerry P., I have to say, Geraldo Perdomo, definitely been appreciating his play defensively at shortstop, and at the plate, he did have 2 hits tonight. So that's good on him, and that's what you want out of your number 9 hitter. I mean, getting on base, and then you got Corbin Carroll, and then Mr. Hit Streak and Ketel Marte batting second. Your best pound for pound hitter and Gabby Moreno coming up after that. Like, that's a combination that you say, okay, we should be able to get a run or 2 in. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to string those hits together and put pressure on the Phillies.
Tim said it right there. They out hit us 9 hits to 8 hits. This game should have been much closer than it was. And really, everything you've said is the tale of the tape. The Diamondbacks were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. They had the one double from Christian Walker, and that's their only extra base hit outside of Alek Thomas's home run. So it was really just about not really having any opportunities, leaving a lot of guys on base. And Aaron said it, Wheeler's NLCS MVP. He has been just outstanding. And again, even with giving up those hits, he's been able to keep runs off the board.
Yeah, is he the MVP? And I don't know that it matters, and we need to take any time. I mean, Kyle Schwarber, his 5th home run.
Kyle Schwarber's 5
his 5th home run of
that
series of the series. He has 20 home runs in his postseason career.
A guy that came in hitting below 200 this season, by the way.
Why did Sean have to call him fat in the middle of our season?
Oh,
that was a really big mistake, wasn't it?
There's a lot of things Sean did really,
when you think about it,
run things kind of off course for us, including leaving the show. He's somewhere in Missouri, I think, right now. I hope he's happy with his actions, but we're not really happy with what happened here with the Diamondbacks tonight. Damon almost refused to make a King Snake graphic. He was just like, for why? What are we doing? For what reason?
Give it to Garrett Stubbs, the best cheerleader in the sport.
Yeah,
Damon has some thoughts on Garrett Stubbs.
Oh man, we don't need to get Damon started on Garrett Stubbs, or honestly Zac Gallen for that matter, because he has some thoughts on Zac Gallen.
Are you producing any shows tomorrow? Because I know you're gonna be staying up all night. You had a video package, I believe, you're working on. Is that correct?
I'll be doing the PHNX Cardinals show tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for that pregame, halftime, postgame. But as well as that, we were thinking about cooking something up for Garrett Stubbs.
Okay.
Nick B says it really well, though. I mean, this has been a great series between the two best teams in the National League, and you could once again, that's just a reminder that the Diamondbacks absolutely deserve to be here, no matter how this series goes.
Damon, wait a minute.
Here's
Damon.
a comment from Sean that says Damon was calling him fat on Thursday in person. Damon, do you want to tell us something?
I mean, at least we won that baseball game, fellas. What are we talking about? We won.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
Well, the turncoats at this company. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Now there was another interesting moment early on in the game, and so obviously whenever you have a situation like this with a smaller market team, large market team, and there's all those not conspiracies, but there's those obvious thoughts of like, oh man, Astros, Phillies, like a rematch, like, oh, that might do pretty good numbers. Rangers, Diamondbacks, like what? Would people watch that? Yes, I think they would. Baseball fans would, sports fans would, but sure, you might get a little bit extra oomph if you've got someone like the Astros and the Phillies. And so when you have the play at the plate like you do with Bryce Harper, and you say they're not even going to review that at all, because possibly Harper would be ejected from the game, and so that would, that could shift things just a little bit in Game 5, and therefore the series. If the Diamondbacks were to go up 3-2, there was another moment too in the top of the third where Trey Turner was punched out by home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. He was not happy with that call. It looked like it may have been a little bit inside. I don't think it got a piece of the black, but the announcers actually on TBS did call this out, saying, you know what? If this was a regular season game, Trey Turner might have gotten tossed. And so you say, is that 2 gifts now in the early going for the Phillies? That might be more for you and Damon to answer, Derek.
I have no part in any of this, but I just want to say I blame it all on Damon. Is that fair?
That's so unfair.
Is it?
One game I went to, we hit a walk-off. Magic.
Yeah.
Magic's in the air.
No.
Yeah,
we hit a walk-off.
Correct.
Yeah.
As a part of the team, me and Garrett Stubbs have an equal contribution to this NLCS. That is a fact, Patrick, and you know it.
I kind of can't argue that. I mean, you both have the same amount of plate appearances.
Can you fact check it? You can fact check it.
Yeah,
right.
it's fact.
Right. I like Nick B's attitude. He said, let's not worry about next season until this season is over. And yes, this is definitely not over, but things aren't looking great. Going back to Philadelphia and trying to win 2 there, not the best environment, and we know what their track record is for winning at home. So definitely, we even said even if the Diamondbacks win tonight, it's still an uphill battle to go to Philadelphia and try to take one of those 2 games there. So this is a tall task, but again, they still have a chance in it. Dominic says blame Marte for that god awful throw. Yes, there was. You're not right about that or wrong about that. Marte had a couple of god awful throws, in fact, so that's not even the only one at all. But yeah, for sure. The umps tried to give it to D-backs all game. That's the craziest comment I think I've read this entire night. That's insanity. But
we got Phillies players out there playing a WWE wrestling match, cold cocking our catcher in the middle of the field.
Also, Trey Turner literally screaming at an umpire's face and not getting ejected is exactly. It's a look. It's what happened. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen to the playoffs. I want to see guys get ejected, but I mean, shit, man, screaming in an umpire's face like that during the regular season, that's definitely gonna get you tossed. But all right. And then Jai says, when you lose, feels like you won't win again, and vice versa. Playoffs are like that because it's the offs. Let's go. Thank you, Caleb Lindsay, for your super chat. He says, where's Flex? We need to talk. Yeah, we need Flex in here. Well, Flex wasn't in the building, so technically he tried to do his best to not cost the I was going to say Suns because I'm just so used to saying he's costing the Suns to say cost the Diamondbacks the game. But
I mean, I think everyone in the fan community has to take some blame at some point. Like we think we all do something different. So I'll go first and say if I did I jinx the Diamondbacks? I did bring the sandals back. Back for this one. I had been shamed into wearing sneakers. I had been shamed into going back to the sneakers for the last 2 games, and the Diamondbacks did win. So you know what? I'll take that blame on me.
Yeah.
Derek, would you guys like to say what, you contributed or how you kind of jinxed the team, if you will? What did you do differently? Derek, I know you shaved. That was kind of Not a great move.
It's mustache. I don't understand. We've been doing playoff stashes this whole time, and now I'm villainized because I just went a little baby fresh on the rest of it. You know, I cut my chin for this team. I sacrificed myself, and I also blame Espo. So yeah, we could just blame Espo. But I'll tell you this much: this team's still a dangerous team.
You're still in
Don't
it.
forget
It's not
that.
over.
It's
not over.
And of course, you do not want to sleep on a dangerous team. So make sure you get the shirt for a dangerous team right now. Go get that shirt. We are fucking dangerous, and we might still be dangerous in Philadelphia. Who knows? But of course, if you have not signed up for a Die Hard membership yet, you can sign up today, and you'll get that shirt for free as part of your Die Hard membership. If you are a Die Hard, you'll get 20% off all that shirt and all of the other wonderful shirts we have in our PHNX locker. We also thank you guys for being here right now on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Thank all of you for subscribing. If you don't subscribe already, make sure to do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our wonderful shows go live. Leave us a review. We always appreciate that on the audio side, and also subscribe over there as well. Make sure to check out DraftKings, of course. Not only do they make the MLB playoffs more fun, but of course, the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings isn't stopping there. For all customers, can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. So make sure to check out for those and opt in for those sweeteners and make some money. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code PHNX. New customers can score that $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code PHNX, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. People are blaming me. It's Derek's fault. Oh, it's Bronson. Bronson, I'll have him block you. I know you don't belong here. You're just a Philadelphia native that wants to come here to troll me like most of the Phillies fans do. But when it comes to DraftKings, make sure to use that code of PHNX to get that $200 instantly in bonus bets. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.com, DraftKings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Also, what is happening? What are you giggling about over there?
It ain't over till the fat Schwarber sings.
Okay. Yeah. See,
Hey,
you guys,
now.
you're just making it worse.
Hey,
you're
now.
just making it worse now. But
what is there even to make worse at this point?
I know,
Like,
yeah.
he owns us.
Yeah, that is
Kyle
true.
Schwarber's
He
an animal.
absolutely owns us.
5 bombs?
Yeah. 5 bombs in
Five.
one series. Yeah.
5.
We said to walk him beforehand. We tried to say to walk him, but I guess that wouldn't have worked because that little single he had in the first, he scored on that. So
It's not. Maybe it's not crazy. It is, but maybe you go, well, you walk him, and even if Turner hits a double, Schwarber's still gonna be on third base, and then you got to face Bryce Harper. So the lineup is just made to hit this postseason.
Yeah.
I think they had hit
Yeah.
16
said
consecutive
that before.
solo home runs. Like, they just mash, and when you hit more home runs than the other team in the postseason, you're gonna win more games. When you score first, you're gonna win more games, and that's just what the Phillies are doing in this series. Up 3-2,
Yeah.
going into Monday afternoon. It's not a night game on Monday either.
It is a
That's the other
2:07
thing.
start on Monday,
It is.
right? Or no, is it?
Yeah, 2:07. 2:07
Local time?
local time.
So 5:07
In Phoenix, that's
in,
right.
Philadelphia. We don't have to worry about going to that game here in Phoenix. But if you're in Philadelphia, you want to get tickets, go to gametime.co. You can get tickets for that event. You can save money. You probably won't be getting $12 tickets like we got for one of our daytime games, but
That was cool.
you will get some cheaper tickets. It is the place for last-minute ticket deals, and it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So don't miss out. Get your tickets for less there. You can snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. And there you go. That's for you guys. You guys can use it too. We love you guys too.
Nice.
You can use that code of PHNX. Again, terms do apply. Create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Well, I'm not sad enough already. So why don't we look at the updated playoff bracket? Because that's going to make me feel even sadder. Yeah. There it is.
The Diamondbacks did not follow suit of what the Astros did.
Yeah, they were
Astros
supposed to do what the Astros did. Yeah.
Astros and D-backs won games 3 and 4. Astros won in game 5. Diamondbacks did not win game 5.
Yeah.
That was the recipe, I think.
Yeah. I just I hate this. I hate the direction it's going.
And you gotta wait. You gotta wait like 48 hours. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
You got Sunday, which it's a good day to recoup, to recover. But you want to flush losses like this so that you can get on to the next one. But you got to wait a while, and you got to win 2 in Philadelphia.
Yeah. We do have some videos from the clubhouse, of course. I think we do have Alek Thomas on this Diamondbacks team's mindset heading here into Game 6.
We just got to give it our best shot. We got to, rally together and find a way to win a ball game, and just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and one at bat at a time too. So we just got to rally together and believe in ourselves and try to get this thing done.
I mean, I don't think I guess I understand that they have to discuss confidence, and yeah, it's hard to maintain your confidence against a team that right when you think you're matching them, right when you think you're playing them well, they put a 6-1 loss on you.
Right.
And honestly, a night where outside of that man talking, it didn't really feel like the Diamondbacks had anything cooking. Again, it was a smattering of hits that everybody kind of got one. So it's not like it's like, okay, the team, went quiet collectively, but they kind of did, and nobody could get that big hit. Nobody could seem to make anything happen at any point. And I mean, I guess the idea here is you still have to believe that you are that team that won games 3 and 4, and that you can get back to those ways no matter where you're playing them, regardless of if you're playing them here in Phoenix or in Philadelphia.
And the fact that you are amongst the final 4 teams, you are the last 2 in the National League, like that obviously means something. And so, you have a lot of confidence, and I think the Diamondbacks believe they belong. And I think anyone watching should believe that. Obviously, there are those doubts with only 84 wins in the regular season, but we have a playoff system and a format saying, hey, the 6th best team deserves to get in. And if they can grind through, a wild card round, all of which is played on the road, they deserve to stay alive. And the Diamondbacks have stayed alive in that capacity. So they got a ton of confidence, and I think they can build on it and not be like, well, they're way better than us. Well, Aaron Nola is a new guy. They're not facing Zack Wheeler again in the series, but they can look and say, well, we did have 9 hits. Okay, that was valuable. That was important.
Yeah.
How much of Zac Gallen's performance tonight could you maybe tie on the fact that, well, the bullpen, unfortunately, you couldn't get a ton out of them because of what happened in Game 4, that being a bullpen game, and guys would have had their best guys in the back of the bullpen would have had to have gone 3 days in a row. Not a great recipe for success there. So you needed 6 innings. That's what we said. You got to get at least 6 innings. They did, but it ended up being 4 runs. And you go, by that point, it was almost too far out of reach. Would Torrey have done something before then? Possibly. We'll never know. But he will have that option in Game 6 with those guys basically having 2 days off today. Guys like Thompson, Ginkel, Saul Frank, if you want to go back to him, as well as the savior, Paul Sewald. They're going to have off today. They'll have off on Sunday, and they'll be back and fresh and ready to go. And you got a decent shot at maybe stealing one at Citizens Bank Park. And then it's 50-50 in Game 7.
Yeah. Carlos said, I understand what Alek is saying, but it feels it disappeared on me. There it goes. But it feels like you don't need to band together. You need to get pissed off and use that fire. And yeah, I mean, Torrey talked about the star of tonight's show, Garrett Stubbs, his comments about going to party in the pool and how that put a chip on their shoulder and how they use that to motivate them. And, that needs to be a thing that carries over to more than just one game. But here is our young king, Alek Thomas, once again, talking more about the confidence level of the team.
All the confidence in the world. I think, we've always believed in ourselves, since day one. So, this isn't new to us. We've been in a situation where we've been down before, or in the regular season. And I know it's going to be a tough atmosphere in Philly, but I believe in these guys, and we're never going to give up.
We also have been asking a lot of questions about Corbin Carroll not running so far in the series. I know you guys have had questions about it. I know we have. And Corbin Carroll discussed not running so far in this NLCS.
To be honest, teams know that I run, and so Philly's done a good job of just making their pitchers be pretty quick to the plate. Wheeler was between 1-2 and low 1-3s to the plate tonight, and you do the math with JT behind there. It's tough to run on that, but what I've got to remind myself there is I'm doing my job by him being quicker to the plate, by changing his tempo. The hope is that there's an extra ball or two over the heart of the plate for the hitter to get the job done. And so, as frustrating as it is to just kind of sit there, that's kind of what I have to remind myself, and what McKay reminds me as well.
It really sounds there like the risk isn't worth the reward.
Yeah,
is basically what Corbin, I feel like, is saying of like, man, it's Realmuto is great behind the plate. Zack Wheeler holds runners really well. He differs each time he goes to the plate, so you can't really get into that rhythm. And Carroll's leads have been fine, but he seems like he might be a little uncomfortable over there doing that thing because everyone knows he's going, and so does that put a little pressure on him?
Yeah.
I don't know, and so the risk, I guess, Torrey and Corbin doesn't feel is worth the reward. And with Ketel Marte hitting behind him, there's been some occasions you want to take the bat out of his hand. But again, if he's on second base, that is a run-scoring single. It's not if he's still on first base. It's just runners on first and second, and that's not going to get the job done.
It also just feels like it's part of their DNA. So you're just actively avoiding one of the factors of your game that brought you success to get to this point. And that's not just in the NLCS. That's been in the postseason. That's been in the regular season. It's just something that this team can't do. I mean, I get it, though, especially when you look at the numbers of Corbin and Ketel heading into the series. They were responsible for the majority of the offense, and a big part of that was the fact that they were hitting. It wasn't necessarily needing to do it with stolen bases. And I think Corbin even got caught stealing during one of his only attempts during the postseason. So, I mean, again, I think that it's we talked about that balance of handing the baton off to the next guy and not feeling like you need to do everything. But someone like Corbin also has to utilize his skill set and what he does well in order to try to make something happen, especially when the offense is struggling to get going. It feels like this team at times, when they get that stolen base that causes the catcher to make that throw that misses and goes out to the outfield, and then they take third, and then all of a sudden everything starts falling in their direction, and I know that's not the case in every game, but it seemed to be the case with their offense quite a bit this season. But Corbin did have more on facing elimination against this Phillies team in Game 6 and also his own game.
It's just baseball. At the end of the day, you control what you can control. I'm not pleased with my performance at this point in the series, but I feel like I've done a good job of sticking with my process. And that's the piece of it I can control, and so I just have to trust that and stay right there.
Oh, if we could only just worry about the things that we can control, but we can't
control the controllables.
Yeah.
And look, the Phillies are fine with taking that risk. I mean, you saw it in that first inning. They're up 1-0. Hey, let's kind of put our knee on their neck just a little bit, and I'm sure Damon would say that Bryce Harper maybe did that literally. But that's what Damon would say.
Why are you giving him more gasoline?
More of an elbow.
This man is already unhinged, and you're
I like
just
it when he gets gassed up.
him?
I really like it when he gets gassed up.
More of an elbow in the jaw.
You said it was a forearm shiver earlier, didn't you?
Forearm shiver, cold
forearm
cock in the
shiver.
jaw.
Yeah.
But Phillies are up 1-0. They say, all right, Stott, you're going to go and force something. And sure enough, they throw down. You take home, and that's what they did. And that's Bryce Harper doing that. That's actually the second time, right, that he's not stolen home, but he's basically used his legs to score a run.
Yeah,
he's done it a couple times this series. And
what was that stat? The only player since Jackie Robinson to steal home in the postseason, was that stat? Cogs, get in here. Come here.
The oldest
Cogs.
player to steal home in the World Series. Harper's 31. Jackie Robinson did at age 35.
Look at what we have, folks. We finally have a beer bet. You are a gem.
One.
You are an angel.
Cogs,
now we have to win,
see your face. There you go.
Get your face in here, buddy. This is the one and only Cogs. The only man to receive the king snake. He tried to bring the monkey, the rally monkey. We've converted this rally monkey to a Diamondbacks rally monkey. Unfortunately, didn't do us much justice tonight, but this beer bat's going to come in handy. Let me tell you, my friend.
Look at that.
Thank you.
How many
Appreciate the
ounces is
wagon
that thing, by the way?
It's a lot.
Nice
It's a
meeting you,
lot.
Josh. Yeah.
It's a lot. And
18?
yeah, I
18
don't know. We'll
ounces at
figure it
least.
out. I'll pour some beer in there later. We'll get that thing going. But
Thank you for reminding me, by the way. So I love the Bryce Harper stealing home stat again because it's Jackie Robinson 1955. Everyone has seen that stolen base. He steals home for the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 55 World Series. Yogi Berra, like it looks like he's out by a mile. Yogi Berra gets livid and he starts jawing at the ump. That's the play-by-play clip that's used in Meatloaf's what? Well, I can't think of the name of the song.
like I would know. This is
You don't know the Meatloaf song? They play it at every wedding.
Oh, is
Let
it?
me sleep on it.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
They do the whole thing about like Jackie Robinson dances off third base. And he's going home. He's going to steal home. Stop right there. I got to know right now.
Patrick, have you ever thought you know too much about baseball?
Before we go any
I
further,
was just wondering.
Derek,
Yeah.
do you love me?
Oh God.
Will you love me forever?
No, but I love the man that's about to join us. But before we get to him,
Oh,
I
I
got to
do
give a
love
shout
him.
out to our friends at Four Peaks. I love
Ooh.
you too. You know that. But Four
Love you
Peaks,
too,
I
brother.
love more than both of you. Four Peaks is the official craft beer of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's the official craft beer of Derek Montilla. Make sure to pick some up wherever you get your beers, whatever grocery store you buy your beers at. You can also check out their 8th Street pub because they have all sorts of fun events. You can also get wonderful chicken tendies and all of their delicious beers on tap. Find out what your new favorite is. You also have, of course, the GOAT Kilt Lifter, which has been perfect at tailgates for over 25 years. And they have the Pumpkin Porter, which is right now available on shelves and in draft lines throughout the valley. So visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite brewery tours and events. Stein Holding, Oktoberfest, and Haunted Brewery tours are all right around the corner. So check out at Four Peaks Brew at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. Also, again, a great place to buy your Four Peaks at Circle K. And this guy will absolutely bash Wawa right here during this ad. And I don't
I've
want any
never
more
said a
smoke.
bad thing about
I
Wawa.
don't
No,
want smoke with
surveys
people that live
show-
in Pennsylvania.
No,
okay?
studies show.
Studies
Oh,
show.
really? It wasn't
Yeah,
even
reports.
surveys.
No.
It was studies.
That's funny
Scientific
because
studies.
I
Yeah.
saw some surveys.
You saw surveys.
Yeah, I
Oh
did.
my God, there's
You
no
know what?
way either one of
Depending
these
on the
things
sample
are-
size, it can be murky. But studies do show Circle K, number 1, Sheets number 2, and actually the latest study shows Bucky's is 3, Wawa is
Yeah.
4.
I'll tell you this much.
what I read.
Circle K is America's thirst stop. So no matter what the surveys show, we know it's America's thirst stop. And of course, it has a brand new membership program. They'll get you all sorts of free stuff. You like free stuff? I like free stuff. We all like free stuff. You want free candy, free chips, free soda? Get down on the Inner Circle membership program. It's free. All you got to do is join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. You'll save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And you'll also buy 5, get 6 free on a selection of Circle K products, including pizza, coffee, and ice-cold fountain drinks. So do not miss out on that.
Ralph, thank you. Yes, for pointing out the clutch. Circle K has pizza.
It does. And they have
Clutch.
Pizza Fridays where it's like 40% off or something if you have the app. Make sure you get that again.
Get Circle K app.
But I don't care what surveys show. I don't care what reports say. I don't care what experts say. This guy is the guy. He's my guy. And it's the one and only Vice Mayor Jesse Friedman coming to us live from Chase Field.
Thunderstick, what's up, buddy?
Thunderstick. Where are you? Are you in the press box?
He's in Mike Hazen's suite.
No,
I
I'm
think.
not. I'm not in the press box. I'm in the same place I normally am.
Oh,
So
okay.
does it look different or something?
It looks a
Wait,
little
what's
different.
wrong?
It looks
What's
like
wrong,
it looks
Derek?
like you're lower, closer. I don't know what's going on behind you, but it's a
Oh.
great view. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm so sad that everything looks closer to me because the Diamondbacks once again did not show up, and obviously Zac Gallen was not great on the mound for this team, but also it's another night where you could kind of spread the blame around a bit as it wasn't Gallen's sole responsibility for this loss.
No, it wasn't Gallen's sole responsibility. I think it was obviously he didn't pitch well, and I mean that was a big factor in this game. But I guess I could go back to what I was saying about yesterday's game. If the Diamondbacks had lost that, about the offense and the fact that the Diamondbacks only scored 1 run in this game. They had 1 hit exactly one hit in 6 consecutive innings, which is just a really, really hard way to score a run. I think actually that continued even into the 9th inning. So I think it was 7 innings, 3 through 9. The Diamondbacks had exactly one hit in every single one of them.
And I don't think any of them were the leadoff hit. None of them were the leadoff hit, I believe, of the inning.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's just obviously not really a recipe to be scoring runs. They didn't get completely shut down by the Phillies pitching staff. There were some base runners, but at the end of the day, a series like this is going to come down, at least in part, to how are your best players doing compared to the other team's best players.
Yeah,
and it's been very lopsided in that respect, right? Corbin Carroll did have a hit in this game, but it was only his second hit of the series, right? Christian Walker had a double in this game. That was only his second hit of the series. Tommy Pham didn't play today. He only has one hit in the series. Those are really important players in the middle of the Diamondbacks lineup. And on the other side, you've got Kyle Schwarber hitting his 5th home run of the series in 5 games. You've got Bryce Harper hitting another home run. Both of those guys homered in Game 1 against Zac Gallen. They get him again toward the end of his start today. So, yeah, the Phillies' best players, including Zack Wheeler, of course, are outperforming the Diamondbacks' best players. And, D-backs are still, they still have a shot here. But, heading back to Philly with the Phillies only needing 1 win in 2 games is obviously a really, really difficult place to be.
I definitely didn't mean to say Gallen wasn't on the hook for this one, like the chat seems to be taking that. I was just meaning, again, Gallen could have pitched, right? Like could have given up 2 runs tonight, and it still wouldn't have been enough to win this game with the way the offense performed. So, there's blame to be placed around. The team was able to get hits, but again, 9 hits and somehow just not really productive. Never really stringing anything together that felt like a real, like any kind of rally or any kind of offensive. I guess output from this team.
Yeah, and they made some mistakes too, right? You go back to that first inning on the double steal play where Bryson Stott, tries to steal second, and Bryce Harper comes, tearing his way toward home. I know that wasn't, some people might say that wasn't a super clean slide on Bryce Harper's part. It wasn't really much of a slide. I see where you're coming from. I'm not really sure where LC was supposed to go exactly. But yeah, that's a play where you're probably supposed to have an out. Ketel Marte bounces that throw to the plate, and Gabby Moreno was unable to corral it and place the tag on Harper. Kind of a similar situation yesterday with Emmanuel Rivera, trying to get an out at the plate, and he bounces the throw, and Moreno wasn't able to handle it there either. So, that play right there costs you a run. I know there was also kind of a funky cue ball single off the bat of Kyle Schwarber that started the game. Theoretically, without that, the Phillies wouldn't have scored any runs in that first inning. I guess that's just sort of a tough break. But the D-backs made another mistake soon after with Corbin Carroll running the bases. He's at second base. Gabby Moreno at the plate hits a single, and he hesitated. He went back to second before taking off and heading toward third. And that situation with Trey Turner going to his left, Trey Turner, it was going to be a really hard play for him if he did get there. And if he did get there, his momentum was going to be moving in the opposite direction of third base. There's really no way that Trey Turner was going to go to third base on that play. So Corbin Carroll should have been going off of contact, and he should have scored on that single by Moreno. So, just those 2 mistakes right there, that's a 2-run swing in this game. Obviously, the Diamondbacks wound up losing by more than that. But, you can kind of pick out some different things in this one where maybe this shouldn't have been quite as lopsided as it was.
I don't know if Corbin had said that he thought that maybe Turner was going to catch that on a line drive, because it did kind of have that appearance. In that case, he would, obviously need to go back to second. But are you surprised that we're sitting here, Jesse, Saturday night? There's going to be a Game 6, which, as we know, means that the Diamondbacks have put up a fight. They've won 2 games in the series. And yet, despite all that, the Diamondbacks have only 1 stolen base in this series. They've had many opportunities. They've had many base runners. Corbin Carroll's been on first at least once in just about every single game, sometimes twice, like tonight with the leadoff walk to start the game and a single in his next plate appearance. Are you a little surprised that there's been 1 stolen base, and on top of that, it's Lourdes Gurriel?
Yeah, I mean, that's, if you had told me that up front before the series started, that would have sounded like a recipe for the D-backs to like go get swept or something. I mean, obviously stolen bases aren't going to be everything, but it was on paper a big advantage that the Diamondbacks were supposed to have in the series, or at least some sort of an advantage. I know the Phillies stole a lot of bases in the regular season as well. But yeah, we did talk with Corbin Carroll about that after the game in the clubhouse, and he basically said it kind of boils down to a math problem. Aaron Nola did this in his start. Aaron Nola introduced sort of like a slide step sort of a situation that allowed him to be faster to the plate. And Zack Wheeler was faster to the plate today as well than I think he normally is. The Phillies have clearly, been very intentional about making some adjustments. And Corbin Carroll just admitted, like, they know that I want to run, and they've made it so that the math doesn't work in my favor anymore. And Carroll talked about how he still feels like he's doing his job in the sense that he's forcing Phillies pitchers to be faster to the plate, which theoretically, might throw off their command, might make them, more prone to making mistakes that they wouldn't otherwise. So I think there is still some merit in that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your D-backs have been out homered in this series 10-3. That is far from ideal. But you could argue even worse, given what we know about the Diamondbacks' identity, is that they really haven't, tapped into their running game at all.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem is that it feels like this team isn't doing the things that brought them here. And then even some of the things that won the Dodgers series for them, right? Like I've had that question asked to me by like the casual fan that just has kind of been watching through the postseason, like, where's the 4 home run inning? I thought you guys were like just smashing the ball yourselves, and it's like that was honestly such an outlier. That was such a unique moment. I mean, it was literally a moment in postseason history, but it was literally just like this weird night where the Diamondbacks just were absolutely dialed in for this period of time, and it felt like none of them on their roster could not hit a home run, right? But for the most part, we know that this team has done it by manufacturing runs. They've done it with the creating chaos that they've talked about. And I mean, again, I know that you got to give credit where credit is due. Someone said earlier that we weren't giving Zack Wheeler enough credit. I felt like we talked about Zack Wheeler being wonderful quite a bit, not only after game 1, but tonight we've talked about it. We do have to find fault in our own team. This isn't a Phillies podcast. So again, for those of you fans that want to talk about Zack Wheeler, you should maybe go find a Phillies podcast for that. Not to shoo you away, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I will acknowledge, though, Zack Wheeler has been incredible. And I think we even said earlier that he deserves, potentially to be the MVP of the NLCS with the way that he's pitched. But again, Kyle Schwarber, 5 home runs. There's been lots of reasons why the Diamondbacks have lost the games they've lost. And unlike the ones they've won, which were very close and competitive for both teams, the ones they've lost have been, there's been a couple of blowouts in there that really make these two teams look like they're not on the same level, which has been one of the arguments about, the NLCS in general. And one thing I will not stand for is talk of the Diamondbacks not belonging here, because this team has absolutely been outstanding in the postseason, and they deserve to be here. But again, hats off to the Phillies, because they are an incredible team. And again, the things they're good at, like stopping the run, is one of the Diamondbacks' strengths. So since they're good at stopping the run, it feels like they're really holding the Diamondbacks back on part of their, what brought them here, that DNA that we talked about.
Yeah, and I mean it is true. Like the Phillies' wins in this series have been a little more commanding, perhaps, than the Diamondbacks' wins. Diamondbacks won by a single run in both of their wins in the series, and obviously both of those games were incredible baseball games. I mean, 2 of the best playoff games that have ever been played at this venue that people are going to be talking about for a long time. Yeah. But yeah, at the same time, I mean, the D-backs in their 2 wins outscored the Phillies by 2, and the Phillies in their 3 wins outscored the Diamondbacks by 17. There's just sort of a difference there, right? I mean, this Phillies offense is really formidable. And yeah, I don't think the Diamondbacks players would be comfortable, giving all of the credit to Zack Wheeler. I think they expect more of themselves, and, certainly expect better at bats. It's something that Alek Thomas talked about after the game. But at the same time, I think if you're the D-backs, you do have to tip your hat on a certain level here. I think I saw a stat, Zack Wheeler among postseason pitchers with more than 60 innings, one strikeout an inning. And I think it was a ERA under 2.5 and a WHIP under 1. Zack Wheeler and is the only one on the list alongside Bob Gibson. Only those two guys have done that. The WHIP might have been under 0.9, but something along those lines. Zack Wheeler is pitching. Yeah, he is pitching insanely well in the postseason as he did last year. As he did last year too. And the D-backs saw Zack Wheeler in the regular season. They didn't see this version of him. Like, I genuinely believe that Zack Wheeler's pitching his mind out right now. But the D-backs, they're seeing him here for the second time. And, I think even though he has pitched well, there's still some level of expectation that you have to kind of figure some things out against him at a certain point. And, outside of the Alek Thomas home run, that bats were pretty much completely silent today.
All right, Jesse, what is, if there are any, positive takeaway from this game that at least the Diamondbacks can go into Philadelphia? They'll have a practice day on Sunday before an early Game 6 on Monday afternoon, 2:07 here in the Valley. But what do you think, if you were inside that locker room, what do you think you might hear Torey Lovullo say to their guys to say, hey, it's all right. We got Game 6. We feel good about it. What are some of the key things that he might hit on in that conversation?
I mean, honestly, I can't necessarily speak to what Torey Lovullo would say, but if it's me, I'm just thinking about the fact that the Diamondbacks are here in the first place. Like, forget that you've been outscored by 15 runs in the series and that you're down 3-2. You're 2 wins away from the World Series, right? And that's a formidable, that's a difficult ask, right? I mean, going into Philly, historically, right? We've talked about it on the show. There's been no better place for a postseason team to play than Citizens Bank Park in terms of their record in that ballpark. It's crazy how well the Phillies have played there, especially over the last couple of years. But, you've got a shot. And baseball is a weird sport, and anything can happen. If the Diamondbacks go in and find a way to take Game 6, you've got yourself a Game 7. And Game 7s are wild in baseball, and you never know what can happen. And it's the same in Game 6. I mean, you don't know what can happen in either of these games. I think even though the Phillies have more firepower in the lineup, they have better stuff in the bullpen. I think that's pretty clear. Their top 2 starters have performed better than the D-backs' top 2 starters in the series. But if you're the D-backs, you are 2 wins away from the World Series. You are still in an incredible position. You're still in a position that 26 other teams are extremely jealous of right now, and you still got a shot. And so, I have to believe that that's sort of the mindset, at least in some respect, going into Philadelphia.
Question that came up here, which was insane. I just need you to go up there a little, Damon, about Torey Lovullo. I just have to sports and wrestling connection ads. Question for y'all: Should Torey Lovullo be on the hot seat? On the hot seat, Torey Lovullo deserves an extension and an NL Manager of the Year nomination, or at least a couple of votes.
Retroactive votes.
I mean, man, this I know that the whole fire Torey thing and questioning Torey thing has been a narrative. I know a lot of people have disagreed with ways he's managed, but you and I've even heard the crazy take like, oh, this team has succeeded in spite of Torey. Torey has been an incredible manager of this team, and he is a huge reason why they've made it this far. So I just want everybody to remember that. And I mean, even if he isn't an NL Manager of the Year candidate, he definitely deserves an extension and deserves to work alongside of Mike Hazen to make this team better and keep them on the path they're on, because this is the path you want a young team to be on, especially a team like this Diamondbacks team that is here ahead of schedule. So let's not forget that. But we appreciate you guys. And Jesse, I know we told you we're getting you on a bus. We told you couldn't go to tonight's game. We have upgraded you thanks to the super chats from last night. Actually, Saul very much told me to tell everybody we're sending Jesse on a flight. We're not sending him on a bus, but it is a red eye. So you need to get the hell out of here, in fact, because you need to get to Philadelphia in time for their workout tomorrow. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate all of your wonderful work, and we look forward to talking with you on Monday when we do a little bit of post game from Philadelphia.
What does one do on a red-eye flight? Like, am I supposed to actually fall asleep? Is that how this works?
No, Jesse, because you don't sleep at night anyway, so you're going to do the thing that you always do, and that's
true.
right. Keep the computer out. Just click, click, clack, clack away. You'll be in Philadelphia before you know it. And you know your story still won't be done. So you'll take an Uber to the hotel and you'll finish it up. You won't get any sleep tonight. And that's how you and I both know this night's going to go. Let's admit it. Let's not lie.
And you know you're supposed to be drinking water and make sure you stay hydrated? Don't drink the water on the plane. Don't drink the water on the plane, please.
Wait, what?
Why not?
What's wrong with the water on the
Don't
plane?
drink the water on the plane.
No, you should never
water?
or have the coffee on a plane.
Oh,
Is the water not bottled?
Not good.
No.
If it's bottled, you're good. But if
what do I need to know about the water on an
just
airplane?
don't
that I
drink
don't
water
know?
on airplanes.
No.
Do a quick Google search and you'll thank me. Don't drink water on airplanes.
Also, don't
unless it's
sleep
in a
on
bottle.
airplanes.
Unless it's in a bottle.
It's a good time for you to get work done and do stuff on airplanes.
Hey,
Don't
I
sleep on an
reminded him to
airplane.
bring his water bottle to Philly.
Is it water bottle? No, because it's going to Philly. I don't know.
I think it has to be,
Jesse,
right?
I'm done
Yeah,
talking
For
it
the
has
next
to
few
be.
days.
Yeah, it has to be. You have to get out of here.
Get some
I need
water
to get
ice.
him out of here because he's got to come pick you up and take you to the airport. So we all got to go.
Yeah, true. See you in a couple of minutes, buddy.
Tell Jack I miss him.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.
Later, Bell.
All right, let me just clean up the notebook here a little bit with some notes.
Sure.
Fifth inning, Castellanos hit one 401
Ugh.
to center. 6 out of 30. It would have dong. 620
6 out of 30.
expected batting average. Brandon Marsh, liner to the right, also had a 620 expected batting average. Alek Thomas, the short king snake. Amazing. Fourth home run of the postseason, 399 feet. Only 5 players have ever homered 4 or more times in a single postseason under the age of 23, and 2 of them were in the ballpark and in the lineup today.
Tonight,
Evan
Schwarber.
Longoria and Schwarber, yes.
Yeah.
He's the first Diamondbacks player in team history with 4 home runs in a single
go.
postseason. Ahead of Gabby Moreno has 3 so far in 2023. Chris Young during 2011 and Luis Gonzalez 3 in 2001. It's the second time this postseason he's homered in consecutive games, and it's the 5th time in Diamondbacks postseason history that a player has homered in consecutive games. Thomas is the only player on that list to do it twice. How about that?
Yeah.
D-backs fans apparently in the top of the 8th were doing the wave, and that may have caused Real Muto's two-run home run.
Disgusting.
Yep, could be. When the
In
road
an
team,
NLCS game.
you weren't
Have
happy
some
about the Marte
shame.
error because had he not made that error, only would have been a solo. When the road team wins Game 5 like the Phillies did tonight
What
to take a
the hell
3-2
are you
series
doing?
lead, they have won the series 22 out of 28 times. That's 78.6% of the time, including 7 of 8 times in the LCS. And final note, there was a 2-out rally in the 9th
It's a terrible
by the
notes.
Diamondbacks. Evan Longoria walked. Jerry P singled. Game over.
I don't like any of these notes at all.
The Alek Thomas stuff was good.
I mean, the Alek Thomas
Come
stuff
on.
was fine, but the rest of
short
it
king
kind of
snake.
made me say, don't call him short king snake. We had a short king. He had all the tools, and we traded him to Toronto,
For a
and
better
that's
player.
fine. And that's fine because we got Mr. Diamondback, Gabby Moreno, and of course my hair twin, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in return. But we need all those guys to step up. Step up. You got to. This series is down to an elimination now, and the Diamondbacks have their back against the wall. So we will be back here on Monday to discuss this.
Damon, I have a question. Do you think Game 6 is a must-win game?
Oh, God. I hate
Well,
you. I hate
Well,
you.
I mean, that's definitely an interesting talking point.
It's
Something I
it's
might have to
not.
think
Could
about
be.
a little bit more.
it's just not.
It just depends on how you look at it. It really
No,
depends
it
on how
doesn't
you look at
depend.
it. No,
It is a
absolutely-
must-win
no,
game.
It depends on how you look at it.
Derek,
But anyway.
can we talk about my audible sigh when Jesse was like, I think the Diamondbacks have to think about just being happy to be here.
I did hear you do
Oh,
that.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on, dude.
Yeah.
We're in the NLCS.
Yeah.
Give me 2 more wins.
That's big loser talk. That's big
That's
time
the
loser
biggest
talk.
of loser
Yeah.
talks.
No, it's all
I
right.
hope to
It's
God
all right.
the Diamondbacks dugout is not thinking like that. I hope to God. That'd be the worst possible mentality ever.
They're not out of it, man. They're just not out of it.
Yeah, they still. Yeah, technically you're right. They're not out of it. When people say, "Do they have a chance?" Yes, they actually mathematically have a
not over.
chance. It's the way that it works. Benjamin Hunley says, "Winning the next 2 games in Philly after destroying everyone's faith in them is exactly the type of thing the 2023 D-backs would do."
Facts.
Facts. And M to the world, an obvious Phillies fan with a terrible profile picture, he's yelling about answer me with an answer back. We appreciate you being here again. Phillies fan, Diamondbacks fan. We don't care who you are. We're just happy that you love baseball as much as we do. So again, kudos to both of these teams, and honestly, hats off to the Phillies for being just a juggernaut that is difficult to deal with. And kudos to the Diamondbacks for being in a position that they absolutely kind of have no business being in. But we'll see what happens on Monday. You can follow us on Twitter in the meantime. I'm at Cap_caveman with a K. Pat is at that's Patty Plantains. He's at Patrick D. Lyons. The maniac behind the Mac. He is the people's producer, and he is our dog.
I was
Dog.
absolutely a maniac.
You were absolutely a maniac tonight. You were an unhinged.
Yeah, it was bad in here, guys.
Totri had to come in and give him a talk. He had to talk him down literally off of a ledge.
Totri screamed
literally had to
at
talk
me.
him down. Yeah, it was wild. But anyway, you can follow him at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. And we are Damon's Dogs. Woof, woof. Of course, you can follow our show at PHNX D-backs, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time tonight. We appreciate you stopping by, no matter what laundry you wear. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you are not facing elimination.
We all silly like the mayor.